She's back again with her notes. You know what that means. I hope it's even. I'm still trying to figure out how to make my background look even with me, so bear with me. It's gonna take a few trial runs. Hello once again. So today's conspiracy theory video is definitely gonna be probably the darkest one I've done so far. Twice! That was the scariest part of this video. I love how this whole time I've been doing spooky videos, I haven't said, you know, oh, these are just theories. I'm not saying they're true. Like, I've just had no fear this Halloween season, apparently. But for this video especially, I'm going to say that these are all theories, even if some of these things have been proven true by the law. I'm just gonna play it safe and say that it's all theories. Please don't sue me, I am terrified. So if you like K-pop, you're probably gonna know most of this, just saying. I feel like this is kind of a base guide of like the crazy wrong things about K-pop. If you don't know much about K-pop, first of all, I'm sorry, because this is gonna make you never want to get into it. Second of all of this will probably be new to you. So the first thing you need to know about K-pop is that there are things called slave contracts. Basically, people that want to be an idol, which is a K-pop superstar, they will audition for a group. If they get through, then they automatically become a trainee, and from then they work for a long time in some cases, honestly in most cases, to be an actual idol and make money. Well, in some cases make money and be successful. When you join a company, you sign something called a slave contract. Yes. That's actually what it's called. A slave contract is an unfair long-term contract between Korean idols and their management agencies. Aside from the contract literally being called a slave contract, when they sign this slave contract, they can be as old as 12 or 13 years old. That is a literal child. And when they sign this contract, they also have to keep in mind that debuting as an idol and becoming successful can take up to 10 years. That is in extreme cases, but it has happened. Most trainees are instructed to live in dorms while training by their company, where they will be easily monitored. Their diet, their love life, and their overall behavior is constantly being monitored by their agency they are working with. So once trainees become successful and become an actual idol, they still have to pay back their management for everything. I mean, literally everything. Their singing and dancing lessons, their wardrobes, and their living costs. For a while, even when they debut and become an idol, they can still not make any money. They are ultimately working off the debt that they are in from what it takes to be a trainee, because being a trainee is so expensive. So ultimately, their first few moments being an idol are to pay off their debt. For many K-pop groups, especially bigger K-pop groups with more members, it can take years to distribute the money evenly between members. I fell down a rabbit hole watching people who have experienced what being a trainee is like. They tell their story, and then I've watched videos of people that were trainees that became actual idols and were in a group or did solo things and their experience with it. These are some of the craziest ones I've found from people who have went through the actual process of becoming either a trainee or an idol.
세게 안 누른다 지금. 진짜 누르고 있어요. 빼봐.朝何も食べない。昼サラダちょっと食べて、1日に300キロカロリーぐらいしか取ってなかった時、ほんともう물도 못 먹었어요.
계속 맞췄던 거 또 맞추고.
저는 요즘 진짜 자신감이 없고何回泣いただろう.
그리고 고음이 너무 귀에 거슬려. 너무 아파. 귀가 너무 아파. 못 듣겠어. 나 같으면 이거 데뷔 안 시켜.
금기시 되어 있죠. 그래서 그런 데이트 같은 걸 이제 못하게 하기 위해서 밖에를 아예 못 나갔었어요. 허락 없이 못 나갔었고, 같은 경우는 아빠가 제 생일이어서 회사로 얼굴 보고 싶다고 찾으러 왔었는데도 회사에서 못 만나게 했었어요. 그래서 그 정도로 가족 만나기도 힘든데.
Later on, I did find out from like the managers that I was close to, that they actually picked only the pretty girls and they thought I was ugly, so I didn't get picked in the group. That's what they literally told us.
You know, the American music industry is crazy, but I really do believe that the Korean music industry is even crazier, which I know is really hard to believe. Just the standards that they put on their idols, physically, emotionally. I don't see anything wrong with striving to be as good as you can be, but I do feel like some companies go a little extreme with this. I'm an American, so I know that my culture is different, but I just think as a human being, whether you're Korean or not, some of these things are a little extreme. We're gonna go right into a group called EXO, which I feel like even if you're not that into K-pop, you probably know who the group EXO is. EXO is a group under a company called SM, and I've spoken about this in a rant video not long ago about how I feel about SM Entertainment. I, have been very open with the fact that sometimes, even though they have some of the most talented idols, the company SM has just been shady time and time again and has been involved in many scandals. If you ever see anything on Twitter trending about SM, it's usually SM. So there's that. So there are 3 members in particular I'm going to be talking about today that left EXO. The first member we're going to be talking about is Chris. In the middle of their promotions for their second album, Overdose, Chris decided to file a lawsuit against SM Entertainment. Now this was back in 2014, this was a while ago, but it's still something that is very talked about. He claimed that the agency had never respected his opinions or health conditions and treated him like a machine part. This is actually very common. Again, not every company is like this, but I will say there are a good bit of companies that I feel really don't take their idols' health into very much consideration. People have talked about idols fainting on stage, going on stage with IV marks in their arms. They seem very out of it. They don't seem like they are well. They seem very sick, and yet they're still on stage performing. And even if it's not a physical thing that you see, there are also idols who struggle with mental illnesses, and yet they are still living this insane, hectic, crazy lifestyle and schedule that their company puts them under. But anyways, later on he released medical records. I believe it's pronounced Sina, which is the largest Chinese internet network, and Korean news unfortunately ignored what he posted. He basically posted and said that he had a heart condition. He had the proof that he had an actual heart condition. So basically SM, in his eyes, did not respect the fact that he was dealing with something that obviously was very difficult. Another thing to keep in mind, Chris was a Chinese member of EXO, and foreign members in K-pop groups such as, Chinese, Japanese, Thai members, that is a whole mess, especially with SM. I cannot even deny that. I mean, just a conspiracy theory, but next we have another Chinese member. His name is Luhan. Luhan also left SM 5 months after Chris and filed a lawsuit. EXO-K, which is the Korean subunit of EXO, received support from SM and actively did promotions, but EXO-M, which is the Chinese subunit, EXO Mandarin, had no promotions received, no financial banking, and endured a difficult time. After saying these things about SM, he eventually sued the company in October. And yet again, we have another Chinese member, this time Tao. These are all people in the exact same group, EXO, and they've all had a problem with SM. And they're all Chinese, so the whole foreign members get treated differently under SM. I fully believe that. His own father posted a letter on a site called Weibo, I think that's how you say it, stating that he wishes Tao would leave the group because of the lack of support from SM and the lack of concern for his injuries. That's his own father saying this. So when your own parents are worried about your well-being and don't even see you that often, because when you're a K-pop idol, you actually rarely see your family, especially when you're a trainee. When your own father says that about you, obviously something's up. He went on hiatus from EXO and released a solo debut album in China. It was a self-titled album, and that was in July of 2015. In August, he filed a contract nullification lawsuit against SM to end his contract. What's crazy is that it's 2019 currently, and Tao and SM are still trying to settle this case. What in the world? And another thing is, I have to bring this up because this is just one of the most shocking things that's happened in K-pop, and that is the fact that a member of SHINee, Jonghyun actually committed suicide, and many people believe that it's because of his company, which guess what company he's under? SM. This is just a very delicate subject, so I don't really want to get into it a whole bunch, but just know that there are many conspiracies that Jonghyun from SHINee took his own life because of how intense and insane SM was while he was with them. The next thing we're going to talk about is just beyond disturbing. It might be the creepiest part of this video. You know, I consider myself a fangirl. I mean, my whole YouTube channel is honestly dedicated to, you know, mostly these people up here, and I have no problem admitting that, but I definitely try to remember that everyone on my wall is a human being and they want privacy and respect. Sasaengs are basically fangirls, but times 1,000,000. Sasaengs are an obsessive fan who stalks or engages in other behavior constituting an invasion of the privacy of a Korean idol or other public figure. Back to EXO once again. I can't escape them. They have had so much crazy shit happen to them. One situation that EXO had with multiple Sasaengs. Sasaeng fans rented out a van similar to EXO's, parked it in a similar spot to the other van in an attempt to literally kidnap EXO. They did not get away with it because one of their managers actually did something right, but one of their managers felt that something was up, and luckily EXO did not get in the van. Then we have BTS, my first K-pop boys right there. BTS were at a cafe in Sweden while filming when Sasaeng fans were waiting for them to come out. The cameraman asked them to leave, so the Sasaengs pretended to leave, then started to chase BTS. Just imagine you're just in a cafe, your cameraman tells you, all right, they're gone, we can leave, and next thing you know, you're being chased. It's seriously creepy. Sasaengs are not just teenage girls, male, female, whatever, all ages. It's crazy. I actually watched a YouTube video once of a K-pop channel doing an interview with someone who used to be a Sasaeng. She basically explained how being a Sasaeng works and the things you can do that are extremely illegal that she did to get closer to her idols.
What exactly did you do? Did you actually stalk them? Did you sell private information?
Yes, we pretty much sold everything we could find. I bought illegal flights, I bought illegal photos, private information, private telephone numbers. Contrary to popular belief, we Sasaengs are not an exclusive group. It's not hard to find us or to find leaked information. On the subject of stalking, I did a couple of things that I'm not very proud of. The worst thing that comes to my mind is taking the same flights as BTS. The reason why illegal flight information is so popular amongst Sasaengs is because in that situation, the numbers are so vulnerable they can't escape. Every time one member finished, the two Sasaengs went into the toilet to do whatever perverted thing they needed to do. It was creepy to experience.
Yeah, you got people actually doing these things, and I'm like, what in the world? Next, we have a member of Super Junior who got into a car crash because Sasaengs were following him and he broke his leg. And then we have another EXO one that has to deal with girls cross-dressing just to get in the same restroom as EXO. A bunch of Sasaengs shaved their heads, wore boys' clothes just to get in EXO's bathrooms. They broke into EXO's hotel, they installed cameras with microphones, and then dressed as men to get into their bathrooms. This one's pretty bad. A member of 2PM received a note saying, "You can't live without me," from a Sasaeng, and here's the catch, it was written in period blood. Kim Yoo-jung. This one was so creepy I had to put it on here. She was only in elementary school when a Sasaeng fan came to pick her up and even impersonated her own father. Luckily the cops showed up because her teacher felt that something was sketchy and she did not end up leaving with him, but just what the heck. Alright, So I've been talking so much smack about SM. Y'all know me. I talk a lot of smack about SM, but honestly, nothing scares me more than Big Hit. Can we just be real? They're a huge company, and yet there's little to no scandals about them. Literally all I know is that they had a girl group called Glam. Two of the girls, one I think got in trouble with the actual federal law. I don't remember what the other one did. I know one was stalking and harassing some other K-pop boy. It's a lot, but I just know that they did get in trouble and they did ultimately leave the group, and that was a whole thing. And I also know that Big Hit essentially almost went bankrupt and no one knows why. Yeah, I wanted to do a whole conspiracy theory video on this, but then I realized there's literally no information about it. That is terrifying. Like, yes, SM has so many scandals and so many crazy shit things that have happened, but it's out there, you know what I mean? You can find it, we all know. But then you've got Big Hit, which is a ginormous company, and I hate to be a negative Nancy, but how are you such a big company and have no scandals? That's just extremely shady. Prostitution and K-pop. This is an actual thing. Well, of course I'm gonna talk about Big Bang's Seungri. I feel like even, again, if you don't know much about K-pop, you probably saw this all over Twitter. It was a huge deal. He was booked on charges of supplying prostitutes to business investors. He was in a group chat with other male celebrities where hidden camera footage and photos of men having sex with intoxicated women were shared. He's an idol, and this is happening, and it just blew everybody's mind because it had been happening for a while and it took so long for it to actually come out. And when it did, you know, some people were saying, oh, you know, it's not true and we love him, and some people were like, him, you know, he's done for, we will not support him. It was so divided, and then it actually came out that it was true, and it was just insane that an idol could get away with this for so long. Honestly, anyone could get away with this for so long, whether you're famous or not. Like, it just blows my mind because this is decades in jail right here. You know, this is not, you know, 1 or 2 years. This is at least 2 decades.
This is something I forgot to mention, but there is a video of Seungri interacting with Blackpink, and it is so chilling to watch now that we all know what he has done. You can just tell that the members of Blackpink look uncomfortable, and there have been particularly other women idols who have come out and said that he has made them uncomfortable when they were around him, and it's just so unsettling and so awful.
뮤직비디오는 다음에도 찍을 수 있잖아. 이 가족 행사는 1년에 한 번밖에 없는 행사라고. 니네 지금 좀 떴다고 오빠한테 그러는 거야? 아니지? 아니지? 정이야, 너 오고 싶지?
승리 오빠는 약간 부담스러운 선배님.
It's seriously dark though and crazy, and it really makes you think, is my idol perfect? And the answer is no. But you know, that's a very extreme case of no, my idol is not perfect. Something else that's crazy is even if you're not an idol, trainees go through this as well. You're very vulnerable because you've spent so much money on being a trainee. Your whole life is literally depending on debuting as an idol, being forced to engage in sexual activities to gain a higher place with their company. You know, trainees being forced to have sex with their older investors. This is an actual story I found online. It was a male trainee. He talked to his company about sponsorships, and there was a woman that came into his life. It was for the sponsorship. That's at least what his company told him. And then this happens. His agency introduced him to a woman who began giving him gifts and allowances. After a while, the woman texted him asking him to come over to her house. When he declined, she became upset. Feeling uneasy about the situation, the idol decided to break ties with the woman and told her he would pay her back all the money he received. What he didn't realize was that the amount added up to around $18,000 to $20,000 during this time. So now he's in even more debt because when you're an idol, you know, you have to pay off your debt to train to be an idol. It's really incredible to me how some companies set their own trainees or idols up for failure from the very beginning. But anyways, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I have one more on the way. I am doing a Queen one. I didn't forget, I promise. It will be out soon. And then after that, I have one more Halloween related video that will be released after Halloween. Shh. But it will be fun and I hope you guys enjoy it. And I love you guys so much. Stan K-pop. No, okay. Bye guys.